Okay, we're back, and I believe this is part 4, I think, or part 5, I'm not sure. Anyway, this is a part of the hexagon modeling tutorial where we modeled a wooden crate, and this is the texturing part. Hopefully you watched the Gimp part where we created a wood texture. I've worked on that a little bit and refined that texture a little bit, so we'll improve it in this part. But the first thing we need to do is go ahead and open our UV image. And okay, if you remember when we were in X normal, we exported our ambient occlusion map as a 1024 by 1024. Now our UV is 503 by 503, so we need to resize it. And to be able to see the image size, you can go to Image and then Image Properties, and you can see here it's 503 by 503. So we need to resize that, so let's go ahead and go to Image and then Scale Image, and let's enter in 1024, and then I'm going to click this little chain icon right here so that it is square, which will be 1024 by 1024. I'm just going to click Scale. Okay, the first thing we need to do is go to, we'll just start right here at the top on our UV image, and I'm going to go to rectangle select, and I'm going to select this innermost rectangle here. So I'm just going to click right here and select that, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to grab my bucket fill tool, and I'm going to grab this brown color I've created, and the HTML notation for that color is 985E37. I'm going to say OK. We'll go ahead and bucket fill our selection here. I'm going to go to Edit. I'm going to go to Copy, and then Edit, and Paste as New Image. Okay. Let's see what size this is. Image Properties, that's 201 by 209. So we're going to double that, and actually we'll double it with an even number, and we'll make that 402 by 402, I guess. So we can close that. Now create a new image, and we'll go 402 by 402. Say OK. And now we want to fill this with the same color that we did this with. So let's go back to this and go ahead and delete that and delete that layer. No, we don't need to delete that layer. We do want to delete that color fill that we did. And you do that just by hitting the delete key. So let's go back to this image, and the reason we doubled that size is it's going to be too big to fit over here in this selection, but what we'll do is we'll resize it because if you start out with a higher resolution and then you scale it down, it maintains some of its sharpness and clarity. So that's why we're doing that. And I don't like these this layer boundary edge on here, which is little black and yellow dots you see around the image. So to turn that off, you can go to View and then uncheck Show Layer Boundary. Okay, next thing we need to do is go to Filters, and then we're going to go to Noise and HSV Noise. And I've got my holdness down to 1, my hue at 3, saturation to 0, and my value set to about 40. Yeah, I think 40 will be good, and then click OK. And then we need to go to filters and distorts, and then wind, and then my threshold to about 1 or 2, and then the strength at about 19. You can just kind of tinker it there with it. And then over here in edge affected, need to have both checked. Trailing is okay because this makes it a little bit darker, but I prefer using both, and then click OK. And then we'll need to create a new layer on top of that, and you can do that over here. And then we'll need to go to filters, render, clouds, and solid noise. And what I've got here is I've got my detail is at 1. Let's see. I think we'll crank that to 2. The X size is 1, and the Y size is 5.9. And then need to check the turbulent box and say OK. And then on this cloud layer we just created, we'll want to go up here and change the mode to overlay. And looky there, we have a nice wood texture. It kind of looks like plywood, but if you don't like the way it looks, you can always well, first merge it down, and then you can go to colors and go to levels and kind of mess with the levels here. It's a matter of preference, and I'm going to just leave it like that. And then I'm going to create another layer on top of that, and make sure your layer is transparent under the layer fill type. Say OK, and then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to choose my brush, and then I'm going to go to my foreground color, and I'm going to change that to black. And then on my for my brush size is 5, and I'm going to leave everything else set the same. I'm just going to click outside my image here, and then I'm holding my shift, and kind of when I get it where I want it, I'm going to hold my control, and that gives us a straight line, and that's going to divide our image up to give it the like it's different boards, and I don't like the way those were placed, so let's do it again. Kind of even it out a little bit here. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, we could do one more thing. Go ahead and click on your background layer and create a new layer with transparency, and I'll give us a new layer above the background layer. Let's make sure I have my brush selected, and let's turn off this layer, and I'm just going to go in here. Let's see, let's change that brush size down to about 2, and then just draw some lines in here, kind of scribble on it. They don't have to be straight. Matter of fact, a couple areas we just want to come in here and give it one of these. Just kind of scribble on it there. And then we're going to go up to filters, distorts, and shift. And we'll crank that shift up to about 90 and say OK. And then we'll set that layer to overlay, and as you can see, that gives us a little bit more detail on there. wood texture there. You can turn down the opacity if you want to. And turn that layer back on. Pardon me. And then what we want to do is we'll go ahead and merge these down. And then we'll go to select all, edit. Oh, let's resize this first before we do that. Go to image, scale image, and we'll do 201 by 209, because if you'll remember our selection and our on top of our UV was that size. So now we've got it all selected, so now we want to go to edit and copy, and then go back to our other image, and you see we still have our selection here, and then we're going to go to edit and paste. Oh, not paste, paste into, I believe it is. No, that's not right. Let's delete this layer. Edit, paste as, new layer. Well, let's go back here and make sure we copy. Now let's go back to our other edit, paste into. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe just click paste. No. Let's create a new layer. Let's see if we can paste it into that. No, that didn't work either, did it? Don't know what's going on here. Paste as new layer. Oh, I see. Forgot to merge this down, so let's merge this down. And now we can go to copy, go back to our other image, and paste into. So remember, if you've got to merge these layers down before you can copy it and paste it. So let's go ahead and Control Z this here, so we've got a couple of layers, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the reason why here in a little bit. Okay, and that pretty much created. Now let's go to select none. Select. Oh, we need to. If you have a floating selection here, which when we just pasted that in, that automatically becomes a floating selection. If you just go down here, you could anchor it, but also if you'll create a new layer, that automatically puts that into that new layer. Let's turn the layer boundary off. And let's go back to this image, and let's see here, delete that layer, and then we'll make sure we take our brush tool and create us some more. Let's see, I don't want to delete that layer because it has our detail on it. Anyway, what we want to do is duplicate that layer, and then we can just drag these into place. Duplicate again. Drag that into place. And also, if you have one of those layers selected, you can use your arrow keys with the move tool. We probably need to rescale some of these. We're not going to do that this time. Anyway, I've duplicated that again. We'll go back and rescale those here in a little bit. I'm just duplicating the layers. Now we'll go back in and rescale some of these. And actually, you do not want all these sides to look the same. And I'll show you how to fix that later. Let's rescale. Let's go to our first layer and rescale that to fit. Let's see here. Let's exit out of that first and kind of turn our opacity down so we can kind of see where it's at. Okay, what we want to do is scale that so it just covers that edge there, that edge there. Let's see where this one is. Once you get it where you need it, click scale. And then you can see, so we have the opacity turned on where it is. I think we need to scale this out a little bit more. Cover that edge. Cover that edge. Scale. That looks good. Turn your opacity all the way back up, and then we'll grab this next one here and go in here and rescale this one to fit. And that looks good. Turn your opacity back up. I am running through this kind of quick. Because it is a lot to do, and I kind of want to keep the video file size down a little bit. Let's turn that opacity down so we can see where we're at. I think that's good enough for that one. Let's go to this layer here. And you see me moving around the screen here. The way I'm doing that is I'm holding my space bar and using the middle mouse button. I think we need to scale this one a little bit. Let's see here or not. We'll bring that back out just a little bit. And I think that'll be good enough. You may want to fine-tune this stuff a little more than I am. Let's go to that top one and turn the opacity down and see where we're on that one. Yeah, that one needs to be scaled. And this edge here needs to be scaled down some. And that turn that opacity back up. Okay, let's go ahead and duplicate that layer. Grab our move tool, bring that down, Turn our opacity down, see where we're at here. Yeah, that one definitely I need to be moved some. So I'm just going to move it on the place on one end, and then we'll go back to our scale tool. Begin to tweak it a little bit. I think that looks good. Turn your opacity back up. So anyway, that'll take care of this part, and we'll come back in another video and continue on. So I believe this was part 4, so we got a part 5 coming. So thank you for watching, and make sure you watch the next part if you want to find out what to do next.